Actress Awkwafina is in some hot water after she's been accused of using Blaccent in some of her recent films. According to Revolt TV, she was questioned about it, particularly earlier in her rap career in her 2018 breakout film performance in Crazy Rich Asians. The reason why Awkwafina's vernacular is noteworthy is because of her comments in a 2017 Vice interview, where she claimed that she would never do a stereotypical Asian accent because she doesn't want to make a minstrel out of her people. Today on the show, we have our comedy hype analyst, Vanessa Fraction, in the studio, with Capone and Pierre calling in, and we have to ask, as a comedian, is Awkwafina wrong for using a black accent as a part of her brand? But before diving in, I do want to take a look at some of the tweets, because as I mentioned, so in that interview in 2017 with Vice, a lot of people had some things to say about that. So I want to read some tweets, and then I'm going to come to you guys. Okay, so one user says, I suspect one of the reasons white people are defending Awkwafina is because they're uncomfortable with facing that the reason they find her funny is because of her mockery of blackness, which forces them to confront how much media they enjoy and that they themselves are anti-black. Another user says, if Awkwafina just talked like that, the hate wouldn't even be bad. And I would defend her because if you grow up in a black community, you're going to speak in Ebonics. But she just puts on that voice as a comedy bit. She's quite literally mocks black people in the most upfront way possible. Pierre, I'll start with you, and I'll start with that question. Do you think Awkwafina is wrong for using a black accent as part of her brand in having that reference to her interview from 2017?
No. I think she can do the black accent, but for turn opposite and say, I can't do an Asian because I don't want to make it look bad or disparaging or whatever, is absolutely across the board incorrect. I think, because we all have done, we know black comics have done white accents and act like white guys, blah, blah, blah. We do all that stuff, but let's play it across the board. I don't know why she don't feel the need to consider black people's feelings when she does a black accent, but she will consider Asian people's feelings when she don't want to do an Asian one. So there she draws the line. I think it's foul. I'm gonna call foul on the play.
Capone, I'll come to you next. What are your thoughts, going back to that interview and then hearing her now that she's in the media for this black accent?
I'm gonna be very honest with you. I don't know who Awkwafina is. I thought it was water. I thought Awkwafina was water. But being that I did catch the video or whatever, I agree with Pierre 100%. You can't worry about people's feelings when you are marking them. And to put her so-called heritage aside because she don't want to hurt their feelings is totally wrong. But I don't know who she is. And I'm gonna just say that again.
Vanessa, I'll come to you. I'll come to you. What are your thoughts on that, Vanessa?
I'm familiar with Sister Awkwafina. And I think the fact that her name was it Nora?
Yeah.
Nora Lum. Well, she has a show of her name on Comedy Central and such. When she came out as a rapper as Awkwafina, you have to kind of say that you're pulling toward a more Blaccent Shaquita or, whatever wonderful elaborate names that we have within our heritage. And I think that the thing to do is own it. You know what I mean? As comedians, as entertainers, we put on many characters. Do I know people that behave as Awkwafina's other persona is? Right. You know what I'm saying? Sure I do. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. So is that a representation of something? Sure. But I think you have to own that and say, yes, I do speak this way normally or whatever. I am from New York, right. So it's a little bit of hip to me. I do listen to rap music. I am a millennial. So those things play into the way that I speak. But I also have a character that I got from when I look at my girl, whomever, right. Or this character that when I'm on the streets, you know what I'm saying? It could be another Asian girl that does this Blaccent stuff that you got it from. But the fact that it really is a character, just own it. Right. And yes, I do. And if you find offense in it, hey, let's have that conversation, which I think we'll get to because she did make another comment. But the thing is, we'll put our foot in our mouth with our answers.
No, and I was going to say that's a perfect leeway because I think that's something that a lot of people have an issue with. So she did, she was confronted about it. And let's take a look at her response.
I'm open to the conversation. I think it really is something that I think is a little bit multifaceted and layered. And so, yeah.
It was the look on her face. If she could have said that with a confident, straight face, I would have went for it.
What is her claim to fame? That she knows how to act like a black person?
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Well, she gained popularity, as I understand it, from a rap song that it went viral, talking My Vag, I believe it was, and then she was casted in Crazy Rich Asians,
but she went as she did that rap as Awkwafina though.
Yes,
right.
That's what.
Right. So it's that character that blew her. Yeah, right. I hear what you're saying.
So Vanessa, I'll start with you because I was seeing your face and your movements while watching it. What is your reaction, to that? Because that's her response to the backlash.
Well, she looked like, I don't know what the question was prior to that question as to why her whole demeanor was a little bit, she looked shamed or something. I don't know. It was like, if you're going to say that, I thought she said it because I read her statement before I actually saw her.
Right.
And so all the stuttering and the looks of confusion and have some confidence in the fact, like, yeah, I'm open to that conversation. I know as an actress, I'm a sponge. When I go to New York, I start talking a little more, New York style, if I'm in Jamaica or if I'm down south, So I get that, and we're sponges sometimes as entertainers. And so just to own it, and she was not even owning that answer. Now it makes me be like, well, are you using a Blaccent to get ahead, sister?
Pierre, I want to come to you because I was watching you as well. What's your reaction to that?
I mean, it's still the same thing. I mean, we don't have a problem with her doing Awkwafina. We understand it's an act. So, own it, not own it, I don't give a damn. It's the fact that she won't do her own people's, feeling that it's a stereotype. You can't do our stereotype and say, that's okay. But my stereotype is not okay to do it because I don't want my people to look bad. Come on now. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. What she talking about? She opened up for discussion. She's opening up multifaceted. Ain't no multifaceted shit. I mean, unless you want to make it multifaceted, what? That you feel like your people have been downtrodden so much, and Asian community been talked about so badly that you want to protect them, but you don't feel like the black community been talked about so bad that you don't worry about protecting them. Is that what you're saying? What's the layers here? I don't get the layers. So it's either you're gonna do us, and you're gonna do yourself too. And if it's gonna be a disparaging, some black people might not like what you do. Might not like the look of, how she does an Asian, a black person. They might say that's kind of fucked up. And mess around, you say, well, yeah, it is, but my own I won't do. So.
Right, and I think too, it's easier to digest, like when you see people like joke about themselves. Like I've seen comedians talk about themselves. Right, they talk about themselves and also other people. So it's easier to digest. But for, like you said, for her to say like, hey, I'm gonna stay away from my people, but I go here. But I don't want to leave you out, Capone. What are your reactions to that?
Seen her again, and I still don't know who she is. I don't know. I mean, come on, man. Let's keep it 100. Black people are the most fascinated people in the world, and everybody wants to be us. And she literally wants to be black and not her own race. And she said it in so many words, and that's the way I took it.
Yeah, I think the thing that gets me the most seeing that clip, like the first thing I noticed was her saying like, I'm open to have the conversation. And I don't know the exact question from the interview, but they were asking her about, using Blaccent and things like that. So it's just the fact of like saying like, I'm open to the conversation, but not using that opportunity to have that conversation.
It might not have been a platform for that, but the reason, and Pierre almost made me question myself, but with his answer, which was good, I'm like, well, what are the layers? But when you start out saying that I am open to the conversation, I think that that's good because sometimes even though you may not mean harm, you actually could be causing harm. You know what I mean? There might be a conversation where it's like, look, I know you don't feel like that this is a bad thing, but you got to look at what you said and the thing that you're putting out and how this is making people feel. So I think it's important to be, at times, damn it, I sound in the middle. But it is important to have those conversations, and sometimes it's important to say I'm a comedian and I fucks with everybody, and this is just what I do, and this is just who I am, and stand confident in that, if that's your intent.
Right.
Well, let me ask you a question real quick. Maybe this might be her angle. I'm just going to try to play devil's advocate. That sometimes people feel like I can't tease my own race, because it's going to be a hell of a backlash. If I make fun of my own race, it'll be a hell of a backlash. But another race won't put such a backlash on me. We've accepted her doing Awkwafina, so we didn't trip. It's no different than we can do a impersonation of a white man, but if we act like coons or something, we act like, well, how y'all doing? Black people's like, yo, come on, man, stop doing that shit, dude. Come on, we black folks. But if that same person does a white boy, hey, or country boy, how you doing? God dang, we're cool with that. So maybe that might, I'm just playing devil's advocate, that might be her angle saying, if I do it for my people, they'll chastise the mess out of me. Black folks haven't chastised me doing that. You know what I'm saying? So maybe that might be her angle. Maybe, we need to chastise her. Now we're going to chastise her when we see it. Because we accepted her doing Awkwafina. For those who've seen her who are Black and who didn't trip on it, they've accepted it. Maybe she's worried about her culture not accepting her doing it.
I think that's a great question too, but I do want to comment on one part, and I'll definitely go to you, Vanessa, before we close out. Pierre, I agree, and I appreciate you always being able to give a different perspective. I wish she would have said that in that 2017 interview, because what she said was, I don't want to, I never want to do a stereotypical Asian accent because I don't want to, make a minstrel out of my people. So to say that seems like you're holding more of a like not that I feel like I'm gonna get backlash from my people, but just because I don't want to do that to my people, like from a like a, you know what I'm saying? So
respect.
Right, expect. So if she would have said that in the interview, like or just whatever the case, it's just unfortunate, like. You saying that and then coming back and you don't have a valid right? Is that you don't have any valid reason or no real conversation?
You had 3 years to get that together.
I totally agree with you. I was just giving you another angle, if that might be another angle.
It was a good angle, Pierre.
Exactly what you said. But I also look at everything and say maybe that was a reason why. I don't know. It may not be the reason why. It might be just what you said.
Well, Pierre, I would say you should have probably been her.
What is the angle that you go with in actually making fun of the Asian people? What? Their voice, what do they do? What kind of stuff can you bring up to make fun of them?
Are you asking, Capone?
Yeah, I'm asking.
Oh, there's plenty of things people have done over the years.
I do an impersonation of them. But
you or another person of Asian descent? What do you? Because it's like, say if she's at an audition and they're asking her, like,
Asian person, what kind of material would it be? If you had to bring it up for her, what kind of material would it be? Because I talk about a sex joke where I say, Asian woman, no more black man, killy wingly. I do that. Right. What other than sex could you really talk about?
Plenty. Using the same accent in any other part of life.
Absolutely. And Pierre, the perspective that you gave, you probably should have been her PR to help her be able to answer that a little bit better.
No. I ain't going through that. Don't leave that in the comments. Don't leave that in the comments.
Well, I appreciate y'all for chiming in on this topic and definitely giving your input. You heard from us. Now we want to hear from you in the comments below. For Comedy Hype News, I'm Symphony Thompson.
Bye here.
Put it in the comments.
Longer hair. Bye here.
Protect Black culture.
What she said.
Do you know the comedy culture? Play Comedy Hype, the game. Out now.